First things first, Chris Broussard is back with us. Chris, when you're off, were you in the back talking to Mangini, and is it more basketball or more football?
Oh, we have a lot of fun back there. We talk family, we talk vacation, we talk what hotels they put us in when we're here. I won't put him out there, but
Interesting.
he's got some strong viewpoints.
Oh, really?
Oh, Mangini's
Look at that.
Size of the room, the quality of the mattress, all that.
Coach Mangini. We're going to have a little talk with him. Big time. All right, so the Cavs were down to Miami to play the Heat last night. I didn't say good play, just play. LeBron James was bested by best friend Dwayne Wade, blowing out the Cavs by 19 points. Cleveland lost more than the game, though. Kevin Love left after only 7 minutes. He got elbowed in the face. He'll undergo tests for a concussion. LeBron only scored 18 points. Guy's probably washed up, Broussard. Chris, how much does the Cavs playoff run depend on that guy right there, Kevin Love?
They need him, man. I think it's the difference between them being a virtual lock to win the Eastern Conference and them having trouble
tested
winning it. Look, if Kevin Love weren't there, and obviously this concussion won't hold him out of the playoffs, but if he weren't there, right now they'd get Washington in the first round. They beat Washington, I believe. Second round they get Boston, who
might not have Kyrie.
Yeah, might not be. So I'd give them they beat Boston. Even with Kyrie and LeBron, I still would pick them over Boston. The next round, conference finals, Toronto or Philly, that is when I think they could lose. And look,
you're talking about without Kevin Love.
Kevin Love, yeah. So LeBron is as great as he is and has been. He's only been to the finals one time without a legitimate second star.
Right.
And that was in 2007. And so he needs that second scorer that he can count on. If Love isn't there, then you got to count on J.R. Smith being hot, which we know how that can be. Rodney Hood, Jordan Clarkson. Any of those guys could be totally up and down. So Love is critical to the Cavaliers.
Yeah, I think he's more critical than people give him credit for because he does a lot of the dirty work. You know, if they want to play their best when they play at pace, he's rebounding the basketball. Never gets credit for that. He's the second best scorer that they have there. Yeah. He is their most consistent knockdown shooter. He is a great free throw shooter. So a lot of stuff Kevin Love do, we don't give him credit. Always talking about LeBron, this one, but they are not going anywhere without Kevin Love. They will struggle in the Eastern Conference Final. And for me, my goal and my standard for LeBron and the Cavs has been championship. That's what LeBron's goal is, so I'm not going to change my goal to what LeBron is. So I know they will struggle against anyone in the West, even if they're healthy. But in the East, there is no safe series for them. And what if they happen to be, what if Philly is number 4 and they end up being number 5? And they play Philly in the first round. Struggle City come in the first round of the playoffs. So LeBron, we haven't seen this type of team around LeBron since the early days. And how long has it been since they haven't been at least a number 2 seed?
Well, and so the other important aspect is what you guys are talking about, which is LeBron without another all-star. Like, LeBron has made 7 straight NBA Finals. Every single one of those, he's had at least one all-star by his side in the postseason.
And mostly 2.
Usually 2, but like when I say in the postseason, the first year back in Cleveland, Love gets knocked out immediately in that postseason, but he still has Kyrie there. So I just want to remind the audience that LeBron, when he didn't make the finals, so like 08, they're up 3-2 against Boston. In the last 3, LeBron averages 37, 7, and 6. But his teammates are not good enough, and they don't win. The next year, when he doesn't have another all-star and they play Orlando, in the series against Orlando, he averages 39, 8, and 8. And they lose that series in 6 games. Like, so the idea, this is something people got to recognize. The idea that it's just a foregone conclusion that, they'll roll through the East even if Kevin Love were done for the year. Like, we have seen LeBron play as well as you possibly can play. That series against Orlando is the example I go to. I think it's the best playoff series he's ever played. 39, 8, and 8 in that series. And they lost in 6 and would have lost in 5 if he didn't hit a buzzer-beaten 3 in, I think, Game 2. So, yeah, Kevin Love's important now. Like, all of my commentary on Cleveland throughout the year has been based in part on, I thought, well, they're going to have 1, if not 2, other all-star level players in Kevin Love and initially Isaiah Thomas. Now, I do like the new roster they have at full strength. You were talking about, given the injuries out west, whether or not this is a year Cleveland, if they're full strength, could somehow steal a title. Get into the West, get into the finals, the West has beat itself up. I think that's still in play. But you saw yesterday how bad the other guys look. LeBron was bad last night. The whole team was bad last night. But I think LeBron being bad is an outlier. How bad the team as a whole looks when Kevin Love isn't out there to add the spacing, to add the help for George Hill, Rodney Hood, those guys.
And once again, we don't have a stretch where there are the same 5 guys out there. Kyle Korver's not back yet. Larry Nance didn't start. So we keep saying, well, eventually they're going to get 5 guys, and they're going to have this roster going into the playoffs, and they're going to know how to play with each other. And yet we're just like, what, less than 2 weeks away from the postseason, and we don't have those 5 guys.
Just real quick, but that's why what Cece alluded to is the Cavs' worst-case scenario, playing Philly in round 1. Because I think they are anticipating, guess when we're going to get our roster back and get our legs underneath us? Round 1 against Washington. Round 1 against Indiana.
They better hope.
Round 1 against Miami, right? But if you get Philly in round 1, that's as good of a team as you're going to face in the Eastern Conference playoffs when you haven't had the time to gel, which I know Jen has been talking about as the importance of it all year.
They're 27-15 with Kevin Love. Now, this is not including games with Isaiah Thomas.
Right.
So that's when he's the definitive second option. That's a 53-win pace. They're 10-8 without Love. That's a 45-win pace. So that's the difference in the type of team they are. And this is why I also say everybody's talking about, is this LeBron's best season? No. He's great offensively, but defensively, he's not what he used to be. And I don't think he could ratchet it up enough defensively. Because if Love isn't there, then you have to become better defensively. Because you're not going to be as good offensively.
Yeah, I think they're going to struggle defensively. They're one of the worst. Especially if you look at the top 20 teams in the NBA, I have not seen a team that plays the pick and roll worse than the Cleveland Cavaliers. I mean, they are awful. There is no way you can look at their defense and be like, well, they're going to ratchet it up. I mean, from a basic assignment standpoint, Chris, they don't know who's going to come off the pick. They don't know are they going to switch? Are they going to constantly switch? Like, that has been consistent regardless of who's in the lineup. So Kevin Love, yeah, he's a huge part, but them being poor defensively, I believe, will bleed into the playoffs and cause them to struggle.
And the pick and roll defense in particular, that's a communication thing. And that's to Jenna's point. It's Jordan Clarkson talking to JR, who he's played 11 games with. It was when Isaiah Thomas came back, it's
not instinctual.
So much of the pick and roll defense is communication.
You know what a lot of the pick and roll is, too? Trying to get through the pick.
Sure.
They play soft basketball. Yep. So it's only partial communication. They do not hit the picker and stop the picker from rolling. All right? Collectively, throughout the team, LeBron, Tristan, Kevin Love, all of them. Don't blame it on the backups. All of them are off with the pick and roll. And I believe that plays a huge part.
The other thing is, if Love isn't there, if LeBron's the only star there, he's going to have to go score first mode. And like he averaged 39 against Orlando. And he doesn't really like to play that way. He likes to get you 27 to 30 and then 9 dimes and rebounds. But if Love's not there, he's going to have to average 35
shots.
And he doesn't like playing that way.
You're talking about 2015 finals, LeBron.
Yeah.
Slow it down, muck it up, take 35 shots.
CC, you know what I always say? All you need is love. Chris, thank you for joining us. Much appreciated.
That's how you do it, Jenna.
I'm telling you, someone's got to do it that way. Coming up.
Get your teacher.
What'd you say?
Get your teacher.
I'd like a T-shirt. Could the Giants really move on from Odell? We'll talk about that next on First Things First. All you need
You can't sing that. We don't have the rights. We don't have the right to stop doing it.